The hierarchy of the Marvel Universe didn't change at all. Because we're talking movies, we're talking Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, starring Levita Wright, Tenoch Huerta, and Angela Bassett, written by Joe Robert Cole and Ryan Coogler, who also directed. The world has taken too much for you to still be considered a child.
A colonizer in chains? Now I've seen everything.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? This episode, we have to fulfill one of our union contracts. So we have our editor, Tyler Pratt, on. And so you're going to get to hear me be very, very sad for probably like the next 6 hours as we talk about 2022's Black Panther 2. Hey, Tyler, how's it going, man?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. I mean, I figured I'd ask to come on because someone's got to have a conversation with Scott about this.
This is true. So you edit all our YouTube stuff. So anybody who has been loving our YouTube channel, that is 100% Tyler. Our content is actually awful. He makes it what it is. We, as you know, this is kind of the part of the show where we do what I'm now calling shameless self-promotion. So before we get into the movie, is there anything you want to shamelessly self-promote, Tyler?
I mean, the only thing I have to promote is the show itself, really. It's all the project I got going on. I love doing it, really.
That's my kind of guess.
Yeah, I mean, I like doing the show, adding a little bit of flair, adding some jokes here and there.
So how long have you been editing? Like, why don't you give us your little bit of a industry backstory then?
So in high school, I took a videographer program. And from there, I went to Conestoga 2009 and graduated from that. Did a whole bunch of volunteering at Rogers TV, worked for some production companies in the tannery in Waterloo, and that's about it.
And so you don't really like to do any other, like you don't edit anybody else's stuff at this point, or is that work that you're looking to get, or?
I mean, if projects come here and there, then yeah, I'll take it. It's not my main focus. Got to pay the bill somehow. But right now, it's just a love of editing and just doing the whole project.
Cool. Scott, you got anything for Tyler since you are also on the show?
I'll say that I do know a guy. He runs a production company. It's called Ava Mac, and they're always looking for cheap people. Right?
I mean, you can't be free, right?
Yeah, you gotta be cheap. You could pay us.
I definitely could, yeah.
Okay, well, Tyler, I mean, if you're done shamelessly self-promoting, we will just jump.
So I want to start first.
Go ahead.
Because
I'll be back in 60 to 90 minutes once you guys are done fucking jerking each other off. So
I'm grabbing my dick, you're grabbing my arm, now work it. Work my arm. See that shit? Work it up and down.
Listen, first, I just want to say we've heard our social media comments. We've heard the emails that set in. And Kris does come off as a jerk. We are all in agreement with this, as you just heard 30 seconds ago. But it's these quiet little moments that our audience doesn't see that, really makes me proud to be Kris's co-host. Because fucking 2 Marvel movies in 1 year. Who would have fucking thought that? Also, when Tyler wanted to be a guest and suggested this movie, at no point did Kris make any stupid jokes about 70 blaxploitation films. He was like, if this is the movie you want to do, I'm in it. And if I'm not mistaken, Kris, you've literally went back and watched every movie that Black Panther has cameoed or been in, right? So you can have this in-depth conversation, right?
I think I'm going to plead the fifth on that, or invoke my charter rights, or whatever country you're in. I'm not answering that fucking question.
I know nothing.
Now, Scott, if it wasn't me that started this conversation about Wakanda forever, would it actually have been Kris actually wanted to do it if you had mentioned it to him?
No. In terms of movies like this, Kris is very what's the word? Machiavellian, So, the only reason we did Thor was for him to, plug some certain other aspects of Thor, right? That's why he jerked it off so much, right? But
Yeah.
Are you guys
yeah,
gonna actually talk about this fucking movie? Because like I'm getting bored just listening to you. So
fuck you.
Well,
Okay, I'll say
I
that.
hope so. I
Yeah.
started to talk to Scott about the movie, and he's like, "No, save it for the podcast."
I
So I
know.
haven't talked about any of it.
I know he didn't know the rules, man. He like comes out of the theater and starts messaging me on fucking Facebook Messenger. I was like, you don't know the rules. I'm like,
yeah, so
save it for
Scott
the
had to
fucking
actually
part.
block Tyler. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, sorry, you cannot respond to this message. Occasionally I get that. I mean, often I get that, response. So
Okay,
okay,
like
so
in terms of this movie as well, I'll say this. Like, this is probably the most difficult movie to have made in the Marvel universe. And one is the real world aspect that Chadwick Boseman passed just prior to production started. So I believe he passed a week or two after the final script was handed in for producer notes, and then having to completely rewrite it with also the thought of whether or not they were going to recast them or move on. And I think going with where they went, which obviously not recasting him, but I think during production and script, like, this film blurred the lines of the real world and the fictional world a lot, because it's really about like the 5 stages of grief, and really the 5 stages of grief of dealing with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, and how this cast and crew who worked together very well had to deal with that about moving on. And like, as a viewer, like, you're on that roller coaster because you fucking feel it, because like you're never going to see him again in these films.
without spoiling anything, I think that that opening with the Marvel logo and stuff, the way they did that, and then the section at the end, the homage, or actually in memory of, basically, to Mr. Boseman, I thought was great. Like, I thought that was a very appropriate thing for a film to do. I appreciate that they did that. Like, I mean, they didn't have to. I mean, I'm sure it was expected. I think it was very classy to do what they did.
Yeah, like I feel them not dwelling what the illness is. They just said it was a mystery illness, and them not kind of diving into what it was. I think they handled it very well. And they even consulted with Boseman's family about how to move forward with the movie. So I thought that they did it very classy. And they just moved on, really.
So what did you guys think of the actual, so that stuff aside, boom, butts are in the seats on almost a 3-hour movie. It's like 2 hour and 40-minute movie, which is fucking ridiculous. But anyway, what are your thoughts then? That's what people are really tuning in to hear. Well,
Go ahead, Tyler.
I felt like the whole pacing was smooth. I do feel like there were some things that were cut, just for timing purposes.
Whoa. You're saying this fucking movie could have been longer?
I think
I thought you
with
actually
the
listened to our
rewrites-
podcast. Chris is all about cutting.
Well, isn't the next Avatar supposed to be breaking some sort of time record? So I think you
Yeah,
can
but that's
always
James
add
Cameron,
more.
man. James, listen, when you're James Cameron, you can make a movie about a boat that sinks that everybody knows about, and somehow still make $1 billion and have it play, I don't know, for like 6 years in the theater. You get a little bit of grace. He has yet to really fuck that up. So unless you are James Cameron, you got to be a little more kid gloves with this type of thing. So you're saying that this movie should have been longer or could have been longer?
I think what they did in terms of honoring Chadwick Boseman, the first script had a little bit more in depth on Namor, where it came from, everything like that, and just due to how everything came about, they did take some scenes out to add those in, just again to make the pay the homage to Chadwick Boseman.
Well, so if you want to have that stuff in, what you do is you go and you take those big dead spots of fucking dialogue that are in there, and you leave those on the cutting room floor, and you fucking pick up your pacing and then add in story elements that you feel really flushes out or makes a character three-dimensional. There is large sections of this film of just people talking back and forth, and I understand dialogue is people talking back and forth, but just basically like this shot, just boring ass fucking dialogue. Like, pick a fucking lane, man. Pick a lane.
Yeah, like I can definitely feel that, especially when they're in the dorm room there. I felt like that could have been shortened a little bit, but I do think the pacing was really good, especially for introducing a new character like that, and essentially him being the first mutant ever in the Marvel comics. I think they, especially like naming him in the first, I guess, movie versions of all the Marvels. That's the first time we've ever actually heard the word mutant, other than in the TV show. Was it the Marvels?
Wait, aren't X-Men mutants? And isn't that Marvel?
It
They're
is,
not
yes,
officially in the Marvel universe yet.
not yet.
But I'm going to say this in terms of Ryan Coogler. I think what he's done in terms script wise within the first two films is he has made two of the most compelling villains in the Marvel cinema with Killmonger and now Namor. Because Namor, in reality, he's not really like your typical villain. He's literally just somebody trying to protect his own people, and that is what the conflict comes from. Right, so it's not somebody trying to take over the world. It's just somebody that's like, listen, we've lived peaceably for like 18,000 years or whatever the fuck number they came up with, and like we just want to leave it like that, right? But your shit is fucking up our shit.
Okay,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I agree.
with Killmonger, it's really about again protecting their people and revenge, or I guess vengeance is the word. Especially with Killmonger, Shuri, just vengeance on trying to make something right in the wrong way.
Oh, okay. So you guys are talking a lot about like, I don't know, fucking comic book shit about the movie itself, though. So,
But that is
Tyler-
Namor's motivation in this film,
yes. Okay.
right?
To protect his people, he must eliminate other people.
Yeah, like he just wanted technically he was like Canada going to the States. Like, listen, you guys got nuclear bombs. We don't have nuclear bombs, but can we be friends? So if somebody comes to nuke us, you can nuke them. Right? And Wakanda didn't want that.
Wakanda don't want some unless we get some, son. Okay, Scott, what about the 2 hour and 40-minute fucking runtime? What do you think of that?
I didn't look at my watch. It was more a bladder issue with me because I should not have gotten the large drink before going in, not realizing that it was that runtime. Because like after end credit, man, I bolted to that bathroom. But
Must be an age thing. I didn't have that issue.
fuck off. You probably went to the bathroom before the movie started. The smart way. But
Plan ahead, yeah.
yeah, I will agree. There was some stuff, but I think now everything's so interconnected with this stuff. Like for me, I think everything with Martin Freeman and Julia Louis-Dreyfus could have been cut because none of that really progressed the story in any way. It's just literally, you already know she's like the next movie with Thunderbolts, right? So now you know what her technical role is and that team and what their motivation's gonna be, right? So it's like, okay,
It definitely could have been shortened.
yeah, like I would take her out, like all that shit out, because there was no.
But at least we finally know who she is. Because like with all the other scenes, we didn't really know what her role is, where she played in government. But at least now we know what her role is.
So wait, sorry, she isn't always the CIA director?
We didn't know that up until then. Up
okay.
until yeah.
I was just like, oh, Wicked. Like I know this actor. She was great on Seinfeld, and she's great in Veep. It was like one of the things of this movie I liked was I was like, oh, I know these people. I like Martin Freeman as well. So this film has got a massive budget, $250 million budget. So far, it's done 425, 426 at the box office, which is, if you've listened to our show before, you know that sometimes you got to do about 50% return on your investment to make any money. I don't know if that is true even at these bigger numbers. Scott, do you know, like, is this film considered a success at this point?
Oh yeah, just the opening weekend alone was considered a success, right? Because it had the biggest opening weekend ever for the month of
not ever.
No, for the month of November.
Maybe I thought it was all just COVID. Those were all just COVID numbers.
No, I think even prior to COVID, for the month of November, it has the biggest opening, if I'm not mistaken.
And I know it like just shattered records in both East and West Africa, which I think is super cool.
Mhm.
I mean, I do. There's like what, one white dude, one white lady, and like, I mean, the supporting characters, the Navy SEALs and stuff at the beginning. But like, this is a black movie made by a black director, screenwritten by a black director. I really actually. So Ryan Coogler, he did Fruitvale Station, which is on my watch list. He did.
It's really good. It's
Yeah,
really
he did
good.
Creed, the original Black Panther, and he's the producer in Judas and the Black Messiah. But he also he wrote Fruitvale Station, Creed, and the original Black Panther. Like has screenwriting credits, all of this. So like he's an extremely talented individual. I hope he doesn't just get bogged down doing these kind of films. Like I do hope he plays the one for the studio, one for me kind of role. Like does some like indie stuff, and really flexes that director writer muscle that he has, because it's very rare. Only some of us have such great synergy as writers and directors / actors / producers that we can pull that type of stuff off, right? So
I know. Trust me. I think about that every day when I look at the mirror. Like, fuck, there can only be one. It's like Highlander, man.
And you are not it. So there we go.
I mean, from the looks of it, looks like he's doing Ironheart and then another Wakanda project. So
yeah,
so
I think he's a producer on that, though.
Were you guys happy
Yes,
with
yeah.
the like action sequences, or like was there any fault in this movie, or did you just walk out and go,
No,
I want
like
the ticket and walk back in?
Like for me, like I don't think it's really a spoiler, but like for me, the thing that I didn't like in script wise is like the only person that technically acknowledged Suri as the queen was Namor. But even though Wakanda's at the end, still called her princess. So I don't know if that's like just a Disney mandate that no princess can ever go to a queen because they can't lose the Disney princess merchandise. But yeah, like by the end, like she should have been referred to as the queen the whole time, right? But they kept on calling her a princess.
I actually, man, it's awesome. Like this has a solid cast of actors. Like the actors in this are all very competent in their craft, Academy Award winning. So you've got Angela Bassett playing. Is it Ramonda? Is that how you say her name? The Queen.
Sure, Queen. Yeah, Queen.
Yeah.
Boys in the Hood, Malcolm X. She played Tina. She's amazing as Tina Turner, and what's love got to do with it. Obviously, she reprised that role in Black Panther. Some people might have seen her American Horror Story. She also played Lady Macbeth in theater. I love her as an actor. I think she is amazing. It was good to see someone of that caliber, even playing. I don't know. Would you consider the Queen a minor role in this or supporting role? Like she
was more supporting. She had more to do in this film than the first film.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything?
Yeah, again, I thought she was great. But I mean, every actor in here, especially like the leads, like Letitia Wright, so who plays Siri, she's from Guyana, so she's in Black Panther, Ready Player One, Death on the Nile. She was in Top Boy, which is a fantastic British TV show. The remake of it, or actually the extension of it, is actually, I think, executive produced by Drake. You got Lupita Nyong'o, who played Nakia. She's Kenyan-born. She won her first feature film Academy Award win for 12 Years a Slave as a supporting actor. like that's not so bad. Like that's what you call hitting it out of the park. She was also in Treme, and if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, she plays, is it Maripone? Is that how you say the girl with the samurai swords?
Michonne?
Michonne, yeah.
I've never seen. I can't watch those.
Tyler's like you. He can't handle horror films.
No, man, it's zombies.
I can't handle horror. It's just
zombies. Zombies
yeah.
in possession are scary. It's way too scary.
I can't do it.
So, do you guys like? Listen, I mean, I can't really comment much on it. To me, it was like, this is what I had to do to prep to watch this film. I was so angry that I had to go watch it, especially when I saw the running time. So first, I watched Reservoir Dogs. Then I watched half of Silence of the Lambs. Then I watched this. Then I finished Silence of the Lambs, and then I went and watched Marlon Brando in The Wild One. Like that's how I had to clean my palate of the Marvel nonsense.
But
Okay.
We're all over the place.
let me ask one question, Chris. You praised Thor: Love and Thunder, like
It was
you
fun.
loved it.
Yeah, it
But-
was like super comedic and stuff. And because it clearly does not take itself seriously. Like,
Okay,
And that's how
so-
Taika's like. That's how he does his movies. Just add as many jokes as possible.
yes. And we all have a sad bod inside our superhero bods. So
Nah, I'm just all that, bud.
but yeah, you were gonna say, Scott. So yes, I praised it because it was funny and there was
yeah,
almost
yeah.
like,
So you would take that over this, like
I'd go watch it right now over this. And I
Well,
could almost
I'm
watch
pretty sure
two
it's
of
on
those
Disney.
in the time that I had to fucking watch this movie.
And Scott, what I feel is difficult for him is that he can't speculate on what's going to happen. So I think that's part of the talk. Like that's what I want to talk to you about before, like where they're going next, like these different tie-ins and who this mysterious professor could be. And I guess we can't talk about spoilers, so I can't talk about it now. So
There's
I'm
a
gonna bite my
mysterious
tongue.
professor?
yeah. What mysterious professor? What are you talking about?
The professor at MIT.
Oh, the one
The-
that the girl is like learning from or whatever.
Yeah, the one that Riri was doing the project for, and then the CIA got a hold of it.
Okay. Oh, well, you can say it. Like, go ahead.
Yeah?
buddy.
Yeah, so it's just
because it's only speculation.
yeah, it's only speculation right now, but there are things you can say that it's Doctor Doom, like what's his first name? Von Doom,
Victor.
Victor Von Doom. Yeah. So eventually, obviously, because we have Fantastic Four coming, so he's coming along, and then with Secret Wars, that's just we already know Secret Wars is going to happen, and again, it's speculation because we know where it's
Boring.
going.
Tyler, man, normally we have like way more respect for our guests, also because
Way more respect for her.
All right, I'm out.
He's like,
Maybe
fuck
it's
you.
'cause
You
you're an
edit your own shit.
an
Respect
unpaid
that.
intern that does all our work for us. Hey Tyler, when you're done, you want to bring me a cup of coffee? Actually,
Yeah, no problem. I'm on it.
so yeah, there's some nerd shit. Because this is sort of like how we got pegged as like a horror movie podcast because we did a bunch of horror movies in a row. And it's like, no, we're actually a movie film podcast in general. We do try and talk more about like the filmmaking aspects. So if we could maybe stay on that topic. Was there anything you would change? Like, is there anything you want better or more?
I personally would change how it's not Atlantis, it's Talakon, how Talakon looked.
But
I feel like when they were under,
Atlantis. Fuck.
pretty much, yeah. I would change how dark it was. I found that very hard to like in terms of like, how to see the movie. I thought it was very dark. I don't know if it was just the theater; it'll be different when I'm viewing it at home, but I felt the overall look was very dark and could be a lot
Oh,
brighter.
I thought that was just more a technical thing because technically it's at the bottom of the ocean, right? So there is no light coming in, so it would be dark. You
Right,
know,
but
it's
in,
no
Aquaman,
it's no James Wan Aquaman where there's light up, jellyfish everywhere that they pull the strings on to turn on the light.
You do know that people also don't really live underwater, right? So if you're
How do you know? Have you been underwater? How do you know?
That was
To the bottom
my
of the
job.
ocean? Come on.
I didn't go to the
Of
bottom.
ocean.
You could brighten it up. I do agree with Tyler on that. Like, just so you can see, like, your set, right? Like, whatever it is, like your CGI or whatever, just like bump up the resolution or not the resolution, the brightness on it, so people can actually see what's going on. I'll have to. Okay, listen. All bullshit aside, I didn't hate this movie. I actually had such low expectations that I went in and I was like, it's not bad. There was, some fun little jokes and it wasn't awful. If I had to watch a Marvel movie that wasn't like a Taika Waititi Thor movie, sure, except that it was too fucking long. Like there was no excuse for this thing to be 2 hours and 40 minutes long. The action sequences were fine. I actually thought that ending, I thought it was going in a direction. I was like, oh, I like this. This is dark. Like it's not like Christopher Nolan Dark Knight dark, but I think this is going to get kind of dark. And then it didn't. I was like, oh, fuck, man. Like it would have been.
are you referring to when?
Don't say what you.
No.
Exactly
I'm just saying.
what I'm talking about. The
Yes.
beach
Are you
thing,
referring to
sitting
when
on
she
the beach.
changed her mind? Okay. When she
Yes,
changed her
on the
mind?
beach.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
I was hoping that was going to go in one direction, and it didn't. And I was like, fuck. Oh well. No
See,
points for Chris.
my only comment about that scene was like if Namor just waited like 3 more minutes. because by the looks of it, there was a 500,000 Atlanteans, and there was like 7 Wakandas left on that boat. That it's like,
Yeah, man. The
Yeah, but then he
Atlanteans.
made that comment after though, like enemy of my enemy is my friend.
sure.
Well, and Tyler, you already brought up the fact that like the Wakandans weren't. He didn't even want them as this enemy. He was just like, listen, colonial types of interests are going to come after both of us, and so we should like link up because it's the only way we can stand together. But if you don't want to fucking be with us, we're gonna fuck your shit up. Which also
Exactly.
still seems like a weird choice. Like you could have just like circumvented that and being like, fuck it, I'm gonna go fuck up the surface world. Have a great day. You know what I mean?
Well, but, like in reality, like, you know, I know you guys made comments about my military tactics with All Quiet on the Western Front, but technically, if he fucking demolished Wakanda, they would have just been like, we're not even gonna look in the ocean anymore because we can just fucking go to Wakanda, and because it's all there for the ticket.
What do you mean, like the superpowers, like the United States and stuff?
Yeah, because all
Yeah.
they wanted was that vibranium. So if all of a sudden, you know, Wakanda's mysteriously demolished, and they're like, "Fuck, we can just walk into this place." They don't really need the ocean detectors anymore, right?
Oh, so what you're saying is like by him fucking up Wakanda, he's sort of like, yo, but he doesn't actually want them to have vibranium either because he knows what the like let's be honest, like the surface powers will do once they have this magic metal, which is somehow also not the metal that Wolverine has, which is what's that, animanium or animaniac or something.
Animantium.
Thank you.
Animaniac.
So listen, man, I got nothing to say for this except that like it's fine. If you like Marvel movies, I think you'll like it. Actually, that's a question for you guys. As people who like Marvel movies, would you recommend this to people who like, is it doing whatever it needs to do in the multi-cinematic fucking universe?
No, because this one's more standalone than anything. Like in reality, it is more standalone than anything. Because even like normally, like an end credits scene in a Marvel movie is giving you what the next movie is going to be, but this one literally just ties up the whole story in this film.
Well, the only thing it moves forward is the Ironheart series is coming out. It's really the only thing that, in terms of future, it's setting up for.
Yeah, but I think that's now like also in the contract that every movie now has to tie to a Disney Plus show. But I think to watch it, yes, I do think it's well done, and I do think like it is a heartbreaking tribute to Chadwick Boseman, right? Because it does deal with that very respectively and done very well. So I would like, especially if you are a fan of his, right? Like, you know, his spirit, I guess you could say, is cast through the whole film, right?
What about you, Tyler? Did you like it did it meet the expectations? Do you recommend this to your fanatical fans? Are you looking for the 9-hour black and white shot in reverse fucking version of this thing?
Well, I mean, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, I mean, that should have been done in the first place. But with this, I think they did it really well. They paid homage appropriately. It was very tasteful. The shots were amazing. What I did like is the slow motion. The slow-mo scenes, they weren't there just to have it. Like with Michael Bay, we're doing all the scenes in slow motion. I felt like the slow motion scenes in this movie were to insinuate the power behind whatever's happening. Like when Namor, what was the ape tribe?
Oh,
Yeah,
Namor
M'Baka?
punched him in the chest. Yeah. Namor punched him in the chest, and his chest plate just shattered. So I think the use of slow-mo was picked specifically and used very well.
Cool, man.
But I do
yeah.
want to say one last thing. Like for Halloween next year, can we go as Suri and I don't what's her name? Well, the one that plays Michonne, like dressed up like 1990s Miami Vice style.
So there's a whole bunch of shit problematic about that statement. Are you going to do it in blackface? Are you also
No.
dressing
I'm just gonna
you're
say
dressing as a
I'll
woman?
be Sherry, you'll be Shaved Head. There we go. We'll just dress in those outfits because they
We could
were
just
like
dress in
gender
those
neutral
outfits.
outfits.
We could just dress in those outfits, and that's fine, and that'll
Yeah.
get us in a lot less trouble than dressing as women or as black people.
Listen,
But sure,
we'll wait,
yeah,
we'll
you want
wait
to
till
dress
our
in
next
90s?
prime ministerial campaign, then we'll do the blackface.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm running for prime minister, then I will make sure I do the appropriate appropriation. So
That's
that's
fine.
I mean
Do you
that's
know
all
why
I've
she
got.
didn't wear a wig?
Sorry.
Do you know if there was a reason why she didn't wear a wig, Scott, in this movie compared to the other one where she wore a wig?
I don't remember her wearing a wig in the other one.
In the first one, when they go to the underground casino, she's wearing a
Oh, I don't
blonde
know.
wig, I think. Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't
I
that
don't
just
know.
to like
Bald is beautiful,
blend,
man.
wasn't that just to like blend in and not to look like a bodyguard or a soldier or something like that?
Yeah,
Wasn't it
yeah,
more for being
exactly.
like undercover? Well, now I think. Well, that's the other thing too is we know about Wakanda now. We didn't know
No.
about Wakanda in the
That's
first
true,
one.
yes.
I
Yeah.
can't believe I was able to put those things together. Fucking, I'm gonna leave on a fucking high note there. Tyler, do you got anything else? Actually, you know what? We'll keep you on for the after show because it's part of your collective agreement. So that's all I've got. Scott, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, you should go watch this movie, whether it's in theaters or at home. I think you're gonna enjoy it. Definitely see it. Like, if you have a choice, do see it in theaters, but you can't go wrong either way.
And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
So, Tyler, what'd you think?
This whole experience was great. I shit my pants all the time, though. Afraid,
We're not throwing you out a
Tuesday?
fucking window or something. I don't know there's nothing to be afraid of.
Well, no, the difference is now it's recorded. I mean, I can have these conversations for days, but to be on the spot,
Unfortunately, Kris cannot.
Tyler, you are going to just re-edit this yourself. So all of a sudden, like, your words and stuff are going to have, like, the best, like, cut to scenes, and half my dialogue's going to be cut out, and it's basically going to become the Tyler show. I mean, that's what Kris would do if he was editing, so. Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.